All right, so this is fight 180. I'm going back and voicing over some of my fights about 4 years after the fact, so I'm trying to give as much information as I remember surrounding them, and then talking about the experience of the fight, which I actually remember quite well of all of my fights. But this is at Liangprasert Stadium, which is up in Chiang Mai. I have Dang in my corner, and this is against Hong Morakot Liangprasert. I've fought Liangprasert fighters many times. They're a gym out of Uttaradit, which is up in the north, and they come into Chiang Mai quite a bit to fight, but they have quite a few women at their gym. It's not a female-only gym, but it's a very female-dominant gym. Like, I do see male fighters out of there, but way less often. And of course, part of that is that I'm fighting their fighters, so of course I see them more frequently or pay attention to them being on cards more often. But all of their names have Hong in them. Hong is a bird. It's like a swan or a crane. It's like a class of birds. So most of them have Hong in their names. So like Hong Yuk Lek, Nang Hong, Hong Morakot here is who I'm fighting. She was listed at 57 kilos. I'm like 47 kilos, so there's like a 10 kilo difference in this fight. This is 9 days after I had just fought Stamp, who would become Stamp Fairtex, so for convenience I'll call her Stamp Fairtex, down in Pattaya. So at this time in my career, I was fighting like every 11, 12 days kinds of thing. So that was fun. I missed that a lot. I'm voicing this during COVID, so there have not been fights in the past 2 years. They've been very, very, very slowed down. But when I was fighting a lot, fighting frequently, traveling for my fights, this was my normal, was just fighting every 9, 10, 11 days. Oh wow, you can see Hong Morakot is significantly bigger than me. I believe I fought her more than once. I don't know whether this is the first time I fought her or if I fought her before this. She's got a nice Ram Muay. The thing about Liangprasert Stadium that you're looking at here, it's kind of in the center of Chiang Mai City, and it's surrounded by bars. Top Hay is also surrounded by bars, but it just doesn't feel the same as Liangprasert does. Liangprasert feels a little bit like seedier. It's not. It's a totally fine stadium. This is how stadiums kind of are up in Chiang Mai. And on some days, it'll be quite bustling, like around it. There will be like, there used to be a bar that would have shows. So like in the middle of your fight, there would be some kind of like karaoke show. It was very distracting. But at this point, that was not happening. At Liangprasert Stadium, for a while, one of the gyms up in Chiang Mai was trying to do MMA fights. MMA was not legal in Thailand. And then I think they changed the rules, and they put up a cage, and then they were tired when they were done with their show and didn't take it down, but there was Muay Thai the next day. And I ended up having to fight in a Muay Thai, I had to fight a Muay Thai fight in an MMA cage with a promotion that didn't understand how cages worked, and so like the door didn't latch properly, and me and my opponent fell out of it a couple of times. I laugh now, but I thought that was awful. This actually looks like Den in my corner. Is that possible? Could Den have been in town? Den was one of my trainers at Lana, and then he moved to Scotland with his wife. Wow, yeah, that is Den. So having Den in my corner is interesting in this fight. So she's southpaw, first off, seeing this. I've got a pretty good, I was gonna say my rhythm was pretty good, but my kick was super slow on that. I'm like trying to start out relaxed. There we go. Got a nice front side jab, which to a southpaw is not gonna do a whole lot. This is fight 180, so this is a solid like 90 fights ago. So because I don't know whether I've fought this fighter before, but because I've fought against her team before, she knows what I'm about. So she definitely came, nice. Getting a little fancy in round one. So she knows what to look for with me. She knows what kind of fighter I am because I've fought a few of her teammates and one of her teammates in particular like 8 times. Look at that. So she's circling out to her right, which is my left, and I'm just kind of following her, which causes me to circle right. I should actually be circling left myself and cutting her off and going outside of her front side. All right. A little bit of side to side there. Got a body hook and a right kick to the open side. My right kick is to her open side because she's southpaw. So when you fight mixed stance, your power side is like all day. It's actually quite fun in that sense. She did the exact same thing to me except a hook up top instead of down below, which is what I had done. She's like 10 kilos bigger than me, which is like 25 pounds. So I'm used to fighting opponents bigger than me, kind of near this range. But it's significant. Like, it really changes what you are and aren't able to do. You totally have to deal with that weight. You're looking at it right now. Trying to move somebody who weighs that much more than you, you kind of have to tell yourself in the earlier rounds it's not going to work right away, but eventually it will start working. Oh, so I had Den and Dang. What a dream team. Wow. Very cool. There's this announcer at Le Croix who has been an announcer in Chiang Mai for a very long time, and he actually used to do the announcements at a different stadium called Calais. When I first started fighting in Chiang Mai, when I was at Lana for 2 years, we fought at Calais all the time. It was like Calais or Le Croix. And him being the announcer at Calais, he's basically been an announcer for me in my fight career for like the 9 years that I've been in Thailand, because once I moved to Pattaya, I still came up to Chiang Mai to fight. So he actually knows me pretty well. He's pretty complimentary in his voiceovers, giving people information about how much I fight, how often I fight up, that kind of thing. So it's kind of cool to have announcers have recognition of what my actual fight pathway is. My very first fight in Thailand was actually at Le Croix on the first trip we ever came out here, and then decided we wanted to move here. All right, so I'm putting a little bit more pressure on her. I was hopping back a bit in round one. It was a slower round one than what I try to do. I try to make my opponents a little bit tired in rounds 1 and 2. She's going for a body lock, which means she's maybe trying to snuff me in the early rounds. Oh, I got cardio for days. That's not gonna work. So I'm trying to do some like front side kicking, which means that I'm not super thinking about the fact that she's southpaw. And again, I'm drifting to the right. But I have a decent high-low exchange here. I'm bouncing that front leg, which is something that I haven't always done, but seems to have been something I was doing at this time. Oh, Superman. All right. All right, so I've got my left arm in and I have my elbow on her collarbone, which means I can lock out her entire left hand. And then my right arm is coming around the back to lock. That was a nice throw. She timed that with my knee. That was good. So my little like skip back as she was skipping towards me, Jesus, nice throw again. She is using her size to a very effective manner here. She's trying to do like dynamic power moves. I just got in trouble because I kneed her after he had broken us. That's bad on my part. Fucking big open side kick from her. Oh, Sylvie. So I'm trying to come in close because I know I'll win in the clinch. I'm locking out her left arm now with my right arm, and then she's struggling against that, and my left arm can kind of pin or try to find a face mush, which is what I'm doing here against the ropes. Because she outweighs me by like 25 pounds, when she leans into me against the ropes, this is bad times for Sylvie. It's just so visibly dominant, and she's just putting her weight on me, so she's not expelling any energy, and I'm expelling energy trying to like get away from her. So if you're the smaller fighter and you're clinching, ooh, nice reversal. You want to stay off the ropes. She spun me really good, and I re-caught her with my arms on the inside. That was a really good end to that exchange for me. Oh, I'm getting some straight knees because my arms are on the inside, and we're against the ropes. So she's trying to put her weight on me, and I'm kneeing from the back of the ropes, and I'm starting to bounce a bit to try to break that up. I think that round was hers. I think she did some pretty dynamic moves in round 2. It doesn't matter that much to have won round 2. You actually need to win rounds 3 and 4 for it to really take the fight. But if she keeps building on that, if I keep making the same mistakes of how I'm getting caught, and if she keeps using her weight like that, it's a good fight for her. So now it's going to come down to how round 3 ends up, because she's made establishments rounds 1 and 2. She's gotten in my head, which means that whatever happened in round 2 just now, how much of that I bring with me into round 3 can affect how easily she can take round 3. And if she takes round 3, Den is telling me to hop when we get locked in the clinch. Because she's so much bigger, I have to break the visual stalemate of when we grab each other. Because she's so much bigger, I actually get kind of like swallowed into the literal position, like that as you're looking at 2 people clinching, I get swallowed by her size. And so by hopping, by jumping and kind of like shaking that out, I can look more like I have more vitality, but I can also look like her strength is not as much as one would assume just looking at her size. This is not like people being unfair, but when you look at 2 people where like one is bigger than the other one, if the big one hits the little one, there's an assumption that that had more impact than if the little one hits the big one because of size. So you have to like work against that visual assumption. Oh, that's a good tip for me. So the announcer is saying that Morakot has decided not to fight on the inside as much because she's tired. This is good. She actually played with me on the inside in rounds 1 and 2 and was dominant, but she's burned herself out a little bit. So now she's going to try to be an outside fighter in the scoring rounds, hoping that she's tired me out a little bit as well. I look slow, but I don't think I'm tired. This fucking elbow, I don't think it landed, but that was a pretty elbow from her. The left came over. Oh, so she was trying to spin to the side of me, and I ended up coming over her arm and getting a top position. That was a really good exchange and change of position for me, and now she's getting knees with her head down. That's me. That's good for me. So you can hear Den screaming, right kick, right kick. That's because against a southpaw fighter, that's the open side. He just wants me to be scoring on my way in. So I'm getting points on my way in, and then once I get to this position and can dominate her, it's basically like this constant, it's like inflating a balloon. Like it's just my dominance is just gonna keep going up and up. I have to win at both distances though. Right kick, right kick. Look how big. So I'm actually scoring, whereas she's kind of, that was a good trip from her. She wasn't winning this round, but that trip puts her in the ballpark. Oh, and then an open side kick from her. That's why Den is yelling for me to right kick, is so that I get open side kicks on her. Oh, those knees are good for me. Ref is good. He's not breaking us. He's trying to pop the rope. Oh, and then she went down and I'm on top. So we both went down, which ideally you want to stay up. But because I landed on top of her, that point was mine. So Dan is telling me quicker, quicker, which I was actually just thinking in my head watching this is that I'm like creeping on her. Oh! She was trying to pull my head down to the side, which was good, and I reversed her right at that moment and put her on the ground. So she had one dominant moment in that round where she put me on the ground, which was good because up until then the whole round had been mine, but then she did that and it was worth something. But then I put her down twice and had more dominant exchanges in the clinch. So I think I have that round. She did land a pretty nice open side kick that I didn't. Kevin's telling me to keep bouncing in the clinch because my opponent's tired and to watch out for her elbow. Yeah, so Dan is still telling me, he's like, when you lock, you get that damn lock in there and then you bounce because it keeps your opponent actually from being able to even initiate their strikes because they're constantly trying to rebalance themselves. So the bounce in the clinch is a really, really good way of like stagnating your opponent. It's like you're just kind of like shaking them, and so that if you're shaking like this, it's very hard to get any strikes off. It's good advice. And they're just smearing me with Vaseline now because she threw one elbow in that. They know me. You can see their energy. I love that I have Den and Dang in my corner. I don't think in my entire career as a Lana Muay Thai fighter I had both of them in my corner at the same time. I can't remember. It was one or the other, and it was kind of like maybe they would take turns bringing the fighters out, or maybe there would be fights at two different places on a night. I can't remember them ever going together, but this is like VIP having both of them in my corner at once. So Hong Morakot is going backwards. She's been going backwards the whole time, but the way she's going backwards is this I have the lead, come get me, which is clever. I don't think she does. That was going to be a left elbow. I don't think she does have the lead, but she's acting as though she does, which is going to create pressure on me to act as though I don't have a lead and fight in a way different from how I should be fighting if I actually believe that I had round 3. It's very smart. Oh, I have her arms locked out. These are scoring. That was a nice turn from her. Oh, 25 pounds, guys. I tried to throw an elbow over the top, but didn't have distance for myself, so that didn't. Oh, I think I just buckled her body with a knee. So I'm trying to I have her arms pinned, and I'm trying to push her body back because I can't bring my hips back for that knee against the rope. So Hong Morakot is trying to stay away from me at this point, not because she doesn't want engagement, but because she doesn't want to clinch. Oh! That should do it. This is why she was trying to stay away from me in the clinch, is because she's tired. So she had amazing rips in rounds 1 and 2 where she could just pull me and be very dominant. And by off-balancing me, I couldn't really land power shots. Now that she's tired, just tired, she's not bad. Now that she's tired, she doesn't have the energy to time those and engage those so much. And so I was able to turn her and land a gut-ripping left knee up into her, I don't know, liver maybe?
Nice patience.
I felt that one. Oh, so I just said she's bigger than the last time I fought her, which means I have fought her before. And that does happen where I'll fight someone and then I fight them again and they're like 5 kilos bigger than the first time I fought them. I'm in a bad mood. I think that fight was hard for me in a way that I didn't think it was going to be. I was actually talking to Yodkun Pan the other day, which is 4 years after the fact of this fight, so this is just a truth in general. It's not about this fight. That for some reason, I have people from the West tell me, why would you rematch someone? You already beat them. You already know that you're better. Rematches are so hard because once someone knows what your thing is, they know how to deal with it. So if you fight someone who you've beat again, unless you're completely in their head and that's your advantage, which sometimes happens, they totally have like the inside of what it is to fight you, and often they're better in the rematch. Rematches are hard.